Hey, what's up? This is Todd Smith. I'm back with another video. In this video, I want to talk about a topic really important to me: creative independence. This is going to be about kind of starting the momentum that you need to get going in order to start getting creative independence. This is for people who really want to start making something of their projects and maybe are having hurdles and a hard time getting started. And this is kind of just a general kind of starting ground of my mindset of how I approach this from day one. Now, the hardest thing about building up a project is you have this concept, you have this idea, you're building it, and it's and you put all this time into it, and when you release it into the world, the fact of the matter is it might not get as much support as you originally wanted. It might get no support at all. I mean, it might come down to the point that no one even wants it for free. Whatever you're creating, whether it be music, a product, a movie, a show, whatever it is, writing, it doesn't matter. The fact is, there might be absolutely zero market for it. And then at that point, I mean, when there's absolutely no market for something and people are trying to progress something, obviously that doesn't work. There needs to be some sort of results. You need to have some sort of result in order to make something work. Now, of course, not everyone needs to be striving to make their art and content progress forward. I don't think that needs to be everyone's goal, but it is my goal and it is a lot of other people's goals. And I feel some people get stuck in even just the first couple hurdles, which to me is what we're talking about right now. When you create something and you get absolutely no progress from creation, you get no support, you get nothing, and you're kind of stuck like, okay, so what do I do? It can kind of leave you in a stagnant place, and a lot of people can totally give up at that point and shelve it. And this comes down to the first option that you could take at this point: quit. A lot of people take this option, they just straight quit, because they put all this time and all this effort into this project, and the project went nowhere. The project got no support. He could barely give it away for free. And why go on, as a lot of people think? And they just write it off as a lost dream. Some people will either A, just give up on the hobby completely, might sell everything off. Other people may just say, all right, this is only a hobby, and tell themselves that, and just go through the rest of life being like, all right, music is only a hobby and that's all it is. And they will kind of segregate that to that part of the section, to a hobbyist with the rest of the hobbyist, because they gave up on the dream aspect. Now, if you don't want to completely quit, your next option is obviously, I think the most obvious option would be to go back and rework your project into something that maybe more people will consume. The only danger with that is you can start getting into territory where you start making stuff that you don't really want to make and you don't really want to do. And that can be a really unhealthy place, and that can actually turn your, as some people say, hobby into a job. You start to get creative and you start molding your project too much, and you might find something that works, but eventually you don't want to do it. So you do have to make sure, if you mold your project, in my eyes, you have to keep molding it within something that you actually want to do if you want to have true independence. Because in my eyes, if you're making a paycheck off art and creation, but you're not doing exactly what you want to do all the time, that's not true independence. You're kind of turning it into a job at that point. My goal is to be doing what I want to do all the time and have a complete control over my content and everything I want to do, the funds and everything within it. And I think to do that, you have to, if you take the second option, you start molding your content, you have to really do that and reflect on your content and keep it within something that you want to do. Now, the hard thing about that is you're still playing the game of rolling the dice and trying to find something that works within the system, within the masses, within a bunch of people, something that's going to sell a bunch, or whatever it's going to pull in the funds that you need to create this machine, to get the ball rolling. Now, the third option, and my favorite option, is to actually look at how you're approaching the whole situation. Is there other ways of funding you can find? You might not have to mold anything. You might be able to slowly build a snowball out of something with just an open mind. Are you cutting yourself off from forms of funding? How many walls and barriers are you putting up because of things you hate that you won't try? That can be the biggest thing. Honestly, people hold strong their opinions, so strong. They build up these walls with their opinions. In an everyday conversation, it might mean nothing, but these walls actually get put up in their lives, and they won't try or do certain things because of their opinions. And if you just want to live an average day of normal life, that's cool. But I want to say, if you want to make it on your own and you want to carve your own path, a closed mind is like the worst thing. You really need to start trying every aspect of every payment. YouTube, Patreon, Bandcamp, those old classic forms of payment that everybody uses. You can't be afraid to use those. You can't be afraid that they're selling out. You got to use it in a manner that you feel comfortable with and you feel that it's proper to your ecosystem. Build an organic growth within that. And then find more platforms to share that maybe other people aren't using. Like me, I found blockchain technology. And blockchain didn't just open up one website. It opened up a whole slew of websites that are adding to my funding. You have Steemit, you have DTube, you have DSound, you have Smoke.io, you have Shun. These are 5 websites that have added to my funding. That's more websites than non-blockchain websites. So that one blockchain world opened up a whole nother world. And I'm constantly looking for more. I'm looking into Medium as a possible blog funding source. I'm constantly looking for other sources of income. But if you piece together a bunch of other sources of income, and then on top of that, you start creating a project and you start creating CDs and you start selling merchandise, and you add that on top of all your other forms of income that you're pulling in from all it to create one massive form of income. So all these walls that you've built up in life and all these really strong ideals and things that you won't try end up being your worst enemy, and you end up being your worst enemy at the start most of the time. Because if you can pool all these sources of income and start creating some momentum, starting to be in a lot better place than just thinking you're going to be able to release a project in one place and get enough momentum out of one place to support yourself. Some people can do that. That's awesome that they can do that. But the fact is, chances are it's not going to happen to you. Chances are you're going to have to pool a bunch of incomes from a bunch of different places to get it going. I think it's something that most people overlook, and they don't really realize just how many sources of income there are for your content and your free thought if you really look out there. You got to think of it almost like as a football player who shuts so many doors off while he can't even find the field to play. You got to think of every choice that you make. Oh, I won't try this. Boom, it's another door shut. Oh, I will never do that. Boom, that's another door shut. So you shut so many doors on yourself. You can't even, you just cut yourself off. So be open, try everything, look for every source of income and pool it into one big ball and snowball that, build momentum with that. It's the free thinkers and the entrepreneurs and the guys who can do things that other people aren't doing that are really bending the rules and really make anything work. You know what I mean? Till next time, stay positive, stay creative. Peace.